with the DSS appears to have subsided, but your perception, and that of many Nigerians, that a grave injustice has been done to you persists?
Well, it's nothing personal, and I must say this, because you will find out with Nigeria that each time an injustice is done against you, the worse or the bigger injustice is coming for as long as the system remains this way it is, operated by different operatives at different times. But it looks to me like all of them have the same direction. You see, we've had democracy. The people we call Democrats today, or people who operated as Democrats today, are people who are even worse than some of the things we used to get away with under the military. You can't get away with it now. I mean, this is 2024. People are still being arrested and detained under the Cybercrime Act of 2015. Don't forget, the Cybercrime Act came from the PDP. And the APC continued with it. And that was the same law that used to be called sedition before the colonial masters left. So nothing has changed. The operators would change, the dates would change, but the character of the Nigerian state as a police state, as an abuser of rights, as a chaotic, corrupt system, rotten system, has continued. And that is where people like us cannot also change our ways. I think it was Chinua Achebe who wrote about that famous bird that says, if the hunter will learn to shoot without missing, I will learn to fly without perching.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And just very, very briefly, tell us about that court case, the cyber court case that you have at the moment. What are the circumstances?
One day I was coming out of the Court of Appeal and some policemen came. That was while I was restricted to Abuja. Don't forget I was restricted to Abuja for 3 years by a judge. And they said there was another petition against me. And I went to the office and they said, a so-called billionaire, I think his name is Ojukwu, said, we wrote a report on Sahara reporters at that time against him. And as a result, I've committed a cybercrime. First, they said it was a penal code, of defamation, and they wanted me to write this. I said, I'm not writing any statement. Next few days, they took me before a judge, and that was 2021, and said they're charging me for cybercrime. And the judge didn't make any determination until the treasonable felony trial was over. The federal government came, the same judge, Justice Unwite, the federal government came and said, we're no longer interested in the treasonable felony, and the judge ruled a week later that I should come back for trial for this side. So we came back on May 2nd for the trial, and still they were unable to arraign me because we protested strongly that I can't be served as the alter ego of Sahara reporters. Reason being that the president of Nigeria today is one of the biggest publishers of news. And before he became president, nobody charged him for cybercrime for stories on The Nation or what he did on his TV station. I heard he has over 7 radio stations. He has never been arrested or even questioned before. So I'm a publisher too. Why am I targeted? But I understand that they're doing it because they have issues with me. They have an axe to grind with me. And so, but I told them, you have to respect that Sahara Reporters is a separate entity from myself. And if you want to dispute any story, you can write a rejoinder first. Secondly, you can go to a civil court. You have no right to be using the instrumentality of a cybercrime law to harass people. And as we speak, a young journalist has been in detention for the last 5 days, kidnapped from Lagos, over a story he wrote about the former special assistant to Buhari on SDG, a former official, about corruption in the SDG. We went to see the police. Why are you holding this guy? They gave us bail conditions that made it sound like the guy killed somebody. Go and bring 2 directors with landed property. Well, like even the people who are stealing billions in this country don't get those kind of stringent. And this is police administrative bail condition now. And then we later found out that they're punishing the guys from FIJ, Nigeria, that's this Foundation for Investigative Journalists, because they wrote a story that the IG was linked with a smuggler. That's what happened. So this is where we are in 2024, sedition all over again. But I understand that they are using all of these encumbrances to stand in my way so that we will not get to it's a distraction. So I won't get to that destination that I promised myself when I entered the university. When I was 10 years old, I will break the back of oppression in this country and bring prosperity and development to bear on Nigeria. And you can imagine, and we were having a conversation before I came, that your family is in the UK. You know, you can imagine how I felt in the last 1.5 months in the US, how the world has moved beyond and above us, and where we're still. It's like we are dragging ourselves. We will take one step forward and 50 backwards.
Yeah, it can be depressing.
It's very depressing, you know, but instead of being depressed, we should all unite and end our misery.